Good afternoon, YouTube. This is man all the way George Page coming to you live on YouTube. Well, anyway, I don't talk about certain fighters that much. This is one of shout outs to BJ, Johnson over at No Filter MMA. He's a fan of this lady, and he's part of his harem. Went along with Jillian Robinson and Montana De La Rosa. This is one Miss Liana Jojua, and Miss Jojua is an MMA fighter. And a situation happened, Miss Jojua. Now, Miss Jojua is from Georgia, but not the Georgia you're thinking. No, this is Georgia, which is a country that neighbors Russia, and they've been having a feud for a long time. Anyway, I saw this the other day that Miss Jojua is not going to make her fight at UFC 234 this weekend. Now, she's supposed to be facing Courtney Casey in the flyweight division. And the problem is the fight has been canceled because Luana, she couldn't make it because of visa issues. They said the fight's going to be pushed back to, I think, about late August, maybe early September. So it's a good thing, once you get the issue taken care of, she can start fighting. But here it is. I've been thinking about this a lot. And this is something some fighters, especially just in MMA general, not just WMA, but MMA general. But since my channel mostly focuses on the women, this is out to these ladies out here who live outside of the country. You have to come to America and stay. It's just the simple fact of it. I mean, this is where most of your work is going to be, especially if you're in organizations like UFC, Bellator, Invicta. These promotions that are mostly here in the States. You have to make decisions to come into work. And I know that the thing is with her, her last fight was against Emmanuel Moravic. It was a battle where she really took wow. And that's been a while. And I know she probably went back home to heal, to relax, to get herself together. And then the fight with Courtney Casey was set up. The thing is, I know you love your home country. You're Georgian, and you love your home country, but you are a UFC fighter, and your work is here. Now, you can do this. Some fighters do this. They live here, and they might go to home for about a month or so and visit and spend some time, but they come back because the fact is, they have to work here. They don't want to miss an opportunity of fights. And that's a problem, especially now with the pandemic. I think travel issues have really gotten serious. And then with quarantines and stuff, it's crazy. A lady I did an interview with Lupita Lupe Gutierrez, she was supposed to debut months ago in UFC, right? A little after she won her title in LFA. But because she lives in Canada. Now, here's about Lupe. Lupe is originally from Mexico, and her family moved to Canada. And she lives in Canada. And she's supposed to have done a UFC fight months ago before a fight against, what was that? Her first fight. And that fight, because of her travel restrictions, she missed the opportunity to fight. So then she had to fight with, she finally got to fight, but then she supposed to fight, was it a while back? I think it was against Sam Hughes, I believe. But that fight was canceled because of, issues of travel restrictions. And, and she missed out on another opportunity to make some money and then make and to come out as a star after that screw job she got at with Jessica Panay. But Lupe lives in Canada, and Canada is very, very strict. I think mostly because of travel restrictions, because with the virus going on, and also the issues. That's also with issues with visas. They don't want you to be in the country too long and then go back just after you just left. So, and truthfully, I like Lupita. I like Lupe, and I think she might need to really switch and come here. And, stay here. If she wants, she can go to Canada and visit, spend some time with family and friends. One thing she told me, she has a sister here in Georgia. When we're doing the interview, she had a sister, she has a sister that lives here in the States. So why not? You can live with your sister and then ninja sister. You can travel back and forth. That'd be easier for you than going to Canada, which is another state, and then another country, and coming back here to fight. It'd be a lot easier for her, And, most definitely, Alexa Grasso. One thing also about Alexa is her English is developing real well. She does a lot of stuff on social media. She pops on. She do live feeds. She still speaks. She speaks a fair amount of her Spanish language, but her English is getting better. That's one thing I want to point out to fighters. When you come over here, I know I'm gonna sound like some fascists or some conservatives or whatever, but the truth is that English is a language in America, and if you learn the language well enough, where you don't really have to be a translator. And also, when you're doing business in America, it's best that you take care of business yourself. Don't rely on too many people like an agent or a manager. Don't put too much faith in those people because sometimes they can really, they can nuke you. So like I give respect to, like originally a Brazilian fighter who a fan of Taio Santos. She's from Brazil, and that's a good ways. And she had issues with her visa while back. Now, she posted a fight against Manny Boom, and that fight's been canceled. Boom's supposed to be fighting Ariane Lipski. And she missed out a paycheck. And then she had her last fight was against Gillian Robinson. That's been a while ago. She really beat the dog crap with Julie Robinson. Sorry, BJ, I mentioned your other girl. And she supposed to fight against Roxy Modafferi. But what happened with Roxy? That fight with her and Roxy, it was an injury. But now I think that fight's going to happen sooner or later because the injury's if it's not too bad, Roxy and her can finally fight each other. But here the thing is, she is one of what we call, a Dana White contender winner. And I think she has to fight here in the States. I know she loves her home country of Brazil. That's her home. Her family's there. But, with anything, I learned that, you have to change your environment. And you have to, it's just part of it. Especially you in this UFC is a serious organization. All these organizations, like not just UFC, Bellator, Invicta, they really rather have you here. So whenever it's time, opportunity for a fight set up for you, you don't have to be too far. You can just, hey, I'm here, I'm gone, I'm ready to go. And there's other Brazilians who live here in the States, both, the double champ and Amanda Nunes and Chris Cyborg. They both live here. I think Amanda lives in Florida because she works with American Top Team. It's ATT, American Top Team. I forgot which one it was. And, Cyborg, she lives in California. And with Amanda, she has a family here. Her relationship with Nina Ansaroff, and also she's a double champ, and she has that success. So I know she has family back in Brazil. She might go visit every once in a while, but she knows this is where her bread and butter is. This is where she makes her money. And Chris, it wasn't that long ago. Chris became an American citizen. And she's a very successful woman now. She has her businesses. She has her training. She has her programs. She has sponsors. Someday even she still goes back to Brazil every now and then, and she helps set up work with another fighting organization over there. And there could be a possible future for her, maybe starting her own organization here in the States. Think about it. She can recruit fighters for like Bellator, or even someday if she decides to hang up the her trunks and say, you know what, put my gloves in the ring and want to retire. She has the businesses because she lives here. And also, you remember, her English was not great when she first started, but she has learned, and that's the thing, you have to learn. I know you love your own language, your own tongue, but you know what, you're in another country where you have to adapt. Another Brazilian fighter who's done that is Claudia Gadelha. And with Claudia, truthfully, Claudia's an attractive fighter. She, maybe not the best fighter, but, she has that, look to her. She, like when she do interviews, one thing I learned, my coach, he loves to interview certain fighters. But the problem is some fighters don't speak English that well. And they have to do a translator or do Google Translate. And it just takes a lot away from it, and, you want to have a conversation with somebody who can understand you, have to look at somebody else to speak to them. They speak to them. I mean, it's just to have a nice, little conversation. I remember he did an interview with Marina Rodriguez. She's from Mexico. And Marina, her English is not as good, but it's good enough where they can have a decent conversation between one another. Like Jessica Andrade, she still speaks in her Brazilian tongue, but she fights here. She practically almost lives here. She still goes back to Brazil now and then, but she needs to learn to understand the English language. You shouldn't have to always need a translator sitting in the middle of the ring and speak for you. You should speak for yourself. And instead of getting like this, when dealing in business, it's good that you learn the language of the country you're working in. So when you deal in business, it's for not just for yourself, but for your financial gains and goals. Because she also has a girlfriend, a relationship, and she might want to start a family. And then there's the Shevchenko sisters. And I'm a fan of both Antonina and Valentina. They've been fighting and travel around the world for a long time, and they learned a lot of stuff. They have lived in different countries and have an open mind, and they are champions. And even though there's different, they at one point champions in different form of disciplines, they still are together as sisters. And they learn to speak the language of American, of the English, I might say. When they come here, because they know, and also about this Valentina, and I think also Antonina are multilingual. They speak their native tongue, I think around, because they're from just about the same region as Jojua, and they speak their native tongue. They speak Spanish, English, and I think you might see some other languages because they're willing to adapt to the situation. That's the problem is you have to get out of your comfort zone and adapt to the situation. That's why I respect both Antonina and Valentina. And I think also that this has helped out Valentina because why? Because one time they did a show in Peru, and that's where she lived for a long time. She lived in South America, and she was there as a translator. She speaks Spanish. And so also she knows Russian and maybe other languages. And that's somebody that's very useful in UFC. And then also, I love this picture of Valentina, that red hair. Oh my gosh, she looks sexy. She has that appeal about her. And now she's acting in a movie with Halle Berry. The movie's supposed to come out, I think, in November. And that's the thing. She learns the language. She learns how to work the system. She knows and understands what she needs to do, especially when we come to America like this. America is a place where a lot of people want to come. And to people who live here in America, when you created the ideology that America is a place for everybody to come, people are going to come. You can't get mad at that. You can't tell people to go back to their country where this country wasn't even yours. And another woman also from the same region as Jojua and Valentina is Yana Krulskaya, And she probably loves being at home, but you know what? She made a home in Florida with her son and her boyfriend, Thiago Sanchez. Santos, or whatever. I think that's TJ, man, Thiago Santos. But she has a look to her. She's Russian, blonde, attractive. This is the type of people that a lot of MMA fighters MMA fans like. She's blonde, she's attractive. She speaks also her native tongue, and plus she speaks pretty good English. And she knows that while she's here, she's taking advantage of the opportunities that are laid out to her with her looks, her qualities. These are things that are really popular, especially in certain commercial franchises. You won't be long. You might see her on a cover or something. She may not be a fighter forever, but she has the looks. She speaks the language. She knows the opportunities are there for her, and she would take advantage of them. Like anybody. And then you got Wally Zhang. Now, Wally Zhang is from China, and she does speak her language, but also she's learning to speak this language here in America. Now, she still lives in China, but a good part of the time, she's here in the States. She knows that there's more opportunities here for herself than anybody. Was as long as she's a champion. And, yes, she goes back to China, but then she knows she has to be here. And she makes sure that everything is straight and her eyes are dotted, her T's are crossed and her eyes are dotted on her when she does her visa. You got to make sure everything is on the level. But, she understands that she has to adapt to the situation. It's anybody. I know there's a lot of people who are from other countries such as China or North Korea or Japan. They're very traditional. But when you come to the United States, there's more opportunities for you, especially her. Look at this picture of her. She's a very attractive young lady. She could get some really good paying modeling jobs. Her beautiful porcelain skin, like a lot of, and like I said again, the main base of MMA are white males. And white males are a lot fond of Asian women. The percentage of white males marrying Asian women is very high. And she has a look to her. I remember it was an episode of this series you watch, Law and Order, where there was this guy who was a Japanese businessman, and it's not about that. It's not about that the Japanese wanted to conform America to their style, is they are willing to conform to America. Like I said, this is a country where there's opportunities here, and it's always been considered the beacon of the world, even though it's not too much for other people, especially my people. So, and also one more person I did a video a while back, Karolina Kowalkiewicz. She speaks English pretty well. She's from Poland, but she speaks English pretty well. Also, along with another fellow Polish countrywoman, Joanna Jacek, who also speaks English pretty well. These two women could be really business women here in the United States, but also be business women in their country. They know both the languages. They know how to speak English. They can go back and speak Polish. They can establish something. They can have the best of both worlds. The best of the respect they earn in Poland and the opportunities they have in America. And I think, most definitely, I know Joanna lives here because she trains in Florida, because she trains out with Valerie Loredo. Sorry, have a little moment. And Carolina, she lives here sometimes. They can go back home when they want to, spend some time with family and friends, but they understand they don't want to miss any opportunities while they're away. They have enough opportunities back in Poland, but they get more opportunities here, especially with Carolina. Carolina's an attractive woman. I'm not going to lie about that. You know it. She's an attractive woman. She can be like Joanna. She can do promotions for UFC over in Poland. She can also be a translator. You have several fighters who from her home country who don't speak English that well. She can work that thing, work in the corners, and be a translator for them, when they do interviews. There's opportunities for her in the United States, and maybe more than she was if she stayed in Poland. Now to Liana Jojua, this is what you got to do, sweetheart. Once you get your opportunity to come back here, you have to establish yourself as, not as a citizen. You can get a work visa. Now, here's the thing is also, I think one thing is it's expensive to live in America. It is. But if you can get a sponsor, you can get your financial situation settled, it's a better choice. The travel expenses coming back from, especially now with the virus going around, and everything else, going back from Georgia to United States, it's a lot of wear and tear. Especially you get injured, you don't want to be going here, you want to be home. I know you want to be home with your family and friends, but it's better here because you have more opportunities. Like I said, she's an attractive young lady. There's more opportunities for her, maybe modeling gigs, something like that. If she gives up, if she's done with MMA. She probably could get some work in overseas, but I think in some situations you will get maybe better chances with sponsors here, bigger names, people who know you. They can use you as a face for something. That's why I say a lot of these fighters who live out of the states, should really consider about living here to establish themselves. There's more opportunities here if they go back. They might get more respect and privilege if they go back to their country. But I could think the pockets would be a little bit deeper if they stick here. This is a country where you can come here and be anything you want to be. Look at this good example is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold was born in Austria, joined the military, was a sergeant, got to be a professional bodybuilder, came here, become one of the biggest, highest actors in the world, became a governor of California, and still a successful man because he understand he had to change his position. He could stay in Austria, be a professional bodybuilder there, come to back and forth to the United States, but he understood. And it was struggles for him. There is struggles. You're going to have times where you're barely not going to eat. You have times where it's going to be hard and everything else, but it's truthfully, the reward would be worth it in the long run. So I'm going to say this to all you fighters who fight out in the United States, who know this is where your work is, where you get paid at. You might as well stay here. Like I said, I'm doing an interview with Danielle Wynn. Danielle, Game Over Wynn, I like to call her. She was in Georgia, the Delta, Georgia, United States, but she had to move because she had to be closer to where she needed to train and to work and to develop herself as a fighter. It's expensive. Even it may not be expensive as compared to somebody living outside the country, but even to some people who live here, you have to move from home. You have to do all this, do all of that. You have to find a place to stay and everything else, and try to change your work, your job position. You have a job, but in the long run, it's worth it. It's worth it. And sometimes I know it's scary to get away from some place where you're away from your family and friends, but you know what? You have to buck up. Had to put on your big girl panties, your big boy panties, and do what you need to do. Anyway, to George, I hope maybe we can see a fight again. I know BJ would love to. But like I said, this is truthfully, you have to come here and settle here. You can always go back home and visit, spend time with your family, but your work is here, your opportunities are here, and you have to do it. You don't want to miss out on anything. This has been All the Way George Page. Don't subscribe. I'm out.